Tahawwur Hussain Rana, accused in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, is back in India after 16 years. But even as he faces justice, attention has turned to his long-time associate, David Coleman Headley, a Pakistani-American terrorist, an alleged double agent and mastermind of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks that left 166 people dead and the city under siege for nearly 3 days. Yet Headley remains shielded in an American prison under a plea deal that prevents his extradition.
Headley still remains there. So there's an unfinished job we have to address if we have to really unravel the full conspiracy. More than, I think, 160 people died, or more, maybe more also. Each one's family is looking for justice in this.
Serving a 35-year sentence, Headley had pleaded guilty to his role into one of the deadliest terror attacks on Indian soil. November 26, 2008. India watched in horror as 10 terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba, a banned terror outfit with headquarters in Pakistan, sneaked into Mumbai using the sea route. They went on a rampage, carrying out coordinated attacks on a railway station, 2 luxury hotels, a jewelry centre and a hospital, among others. The deadly attack, Headley watched on television from Lahore.
David Headley took the various photographs of the targeted places which he later on handed over to the Lashkar-e-Taiba for facilitating the terrorist act.
The terrorists killed among 166 people, 26 foreigners and 20 security personnel, and left over 300 injured in the nearly 60-hour terror assault, before India's security forces gunned down 9 of them. Ajmal Kasab, the 10th terrorist, was caught alive by forces and hanged to death 4 years later.
आतंकवाद अभी भी और भी बैठे हैं पाकिस्तान में, जो बड़े बड़े आतंकवादी बैठे हैं मास्टरमाइंड, जब वो खत्म होगा तब लगेगा कि आतंकवाद पूरे खत्म हो गए.
Headley was born as Daud Said Gilani to Said Salim Gilani, a noted Pakistani diplomat and broadcaster, and his American wife, Alice Cyril Headley. Born in America, his parents moved to Pakistan shortly after his birth. Divorced in 1966, Headley's father stayed in Pakistan and his mother returned to America, forced to leave her son behind. Headley spent his early years at a boarding school in Pakistan, grew up as a Pakistani elite, and stood out for his Caucasian features and unique one blue eye and one brown eye. He later returned to US and worked at his mother's Philadelphia bar. In 1998, Headley was convicted of smuggling heroin and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. But upon his release, he began working with the US Drug Enforcement Administration, participating in several undercover surveillance operations in Pakistan. During this time, Headley began establishing links with Lashkar-e-Taiba and worked as a double agent for US government and Pakistan's inter-services intelligence.
I have already examined David Headley in Mumbai court, who had given the sensitive revelation disclosing the close nexus between Lashkar-e-Taiba and the ISI of the Pakistan Army.
Headley met and became close friends with Tahawwur Rana in Pakistan when they attended college together. But Rana's support of Headley extended beyond Mumbai. They were also involved in a foiled terror plot targeting a Danish newspaper for publishing controversial cartoons of Prophet Muhammad in 2005. The plan, dubbed the Mickey Mouse Project, involved beheading members of the newspaper staff and then publicly displaying their heads. But the plot was disrupted when Rana and Headley were arrested by the FBI at Chicago Airport in October 2009 while allegedly preparing to execute the attack. Their arrest unfolded the Mumbai terror attacks plot. Headley and Rana conspired with operatives of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Harkat-ul-Jihad Islami to carry out the 3-day terror siege of India's financial capital. During his India visits, Headley carried out detailed recce of prime targets.
Tahawwur Rana was an associate of David Coleman Headley, who played a much more significant role in the 26/11 attacks. Tahawwur Rana was the person who set up the immigration office in Mumbai, in which David Coleman Headley was given the job and he then got a visa to come to India. So that is something which his interrogation in India will bring that out. what he knew and what David Coleman Headley had told him.
During trial, Headley turned approver in the case, identified Rana as a key enabler in the plot, and pledged guilty to 12 terrorism charges, including multiple counts linked to the Mumbai attacks. Back in India, Mumbai police filed a 400-page supplementary charge sheet defining Rana and Headley's role in the attacks, after India first sought Rana's extradition in 2020. Headley's testimony offered some of the most concrete evidence linking Pakistani intelligence to the Mumbai attacks.
It would have been extremely useful for us if David Coleman Headley had been handed to us, because he was the person who not only did all the surveillance and recce within India, he is the one who also went to Pakistan and with Saeed and other people, including in the Pak ISI, he was the one who was in touch with all of them. So if they had handed him over to us, it would have been a big advantage for us.
With Rana's return, Indian authorities hope to unearth more details about the planning, execution and external support received by the 2611 attackers. But Headley's link with the US agencies remain among the unanswered claims of 2611.
Challenge was that all this planning started somewhere in 2001, 2002, and we had no idea. At least till 2002, David Headley was an agent of the Drug Enforcement Agency. So I don't know where the information fell through. How did we not have early warning that they are planning this? I mean, sometimes you have one agency doesn't talk to the other, all that happens. So but from 2009 onwards, when they were first arrested, I think we've had a fair degree of cooperation initially. Now, in the last 2 years, a year or so, I think the cooperation has been far better, because we were given only limited access to interrogate David Headley. We were not given full access. Now, this is, like I said, this is what cooperation looks like.
Also, Headley's relationship with DEA remains clouded in contradiction. But despite a trail of evidence, Headley's extradition to India is not possible due to a binding legal agreement with the US government. Headley's 2010 plea bargain, signed in exchange for his testimony against his co-conspirators and on condition of turning in his close friend Rana, made him a protected witness of the US, which spared him the death penalty, granted him immunity from extradition to India, Pakistan and Denmark, and so prevented him from facing justice in Indian courts.
He was actually a double agent of the United States. So he was working for the United States also, and while also working with the terrorist groups in Pakistan and the ISI. So I think the Americans didn't want him to be exposed. Quite disappointed with the United States that they allowed this plea bargain. I think they protected their interest, not looking after India's interests.
India believes Rana's testimony will expose the operational chain to the horrific events of 2611 and bring to the victims and their families a long-awaited closure. But can it be justice after all when the 2611 mastermind got away?